So it's about time for our local Harvest Days tractor show. Time to get some equipment ready. We haven't shown in 2 years now. Gotta get the wife's Massey Harris Pony out. Problem is, last time I had it running, it was leaking fuel from the carburetor. I suspect it's got a bad seal on the float. I'll get that out, rebuild it, put a new battery in it, dig it out from the pile in storage here, and get cleaned up and ready to go. So I'm not sure if I've ever had this carburetor off this tractor. I bought this tractor in running condition. Said it's overfilling the float chamber and running down the intake now, so it's I know it's got at least a dirty or even a bad float seat, so might as well refresh some of the seals. I got a basic seal set from Steiner tractor parts. Apparently they use this carburetor, this Marvel Shaber or Marvel Shelber, however you say it. They use the same carburetor on a Alice Chalmers Model G tractors as well. So I took this carburetor, I gave it a basic cleanup, knocked the majority of the dirt off it, strip it down here and clean it up some more and do a refresh on the gaskets and go from there. Now see, when you open this up here, you gotta be careful. The gasket could trap the float in there, like in this case here. So I've got to get this gasket to peel up off the surface to get this float out without hurting it. There's the float. Overall, it doesn't appear to be too bad a shape. Pull this mixture needle out and run it down and see where it's at so I can put it about the same spot. Okay, it's about two turns from fully closed. That'll get us back into a position where the tractor will run anyways. You can adjust it later. See that needle's got some contamination on it. Gasket off here. If you can see down in there, there's a little bit of old something or other coming out of the gas tank or something in there. Some fine stuff. Sure, that doesn't help things much as far as running. Pull this. Jet out. Oh, that's pretty crusty as well. It'll probably run a fair bit better once you get it all cleaned up as well. This hasn't been started in a couple of years.
It's nice together. See what this jet looks like.
Yeah, so that jet's not the greatest looking either. It's clear, but yeah, right there. Piece of something stuck on there. Okay, well, I'll go give this another cleanup. Bring you back. Okay, as I was cleaning this up, after I scraped this gasket off, I found that this surface is pretty corroded. I'm concerned about it sealing. I also brought it over here to my small granite. I noticed it's got, might not be able to hear it with the dehumidifier on, but it's got a little bit of rock in this direction. It's not quite flat. So I'm going to flatten this up. Instead of putting it on a machine, I'm just going to do it right here on the granite. And start with some 220 grit wet and dry sandpaper here. Put on this nice flat surface. Now if you don't have a granite, you could use anything that's flat. You know, this has got a pretty thick paper gasket on it, so it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but you can use a piece of glass, or even if you had a piece of metal or something that way, you know that you were pretty confident was flat, then you could use that. So I'm gonna put a little crud cutter on here. I actually use that for sharpening hand plane blades. It seems to work pretty good. It's not oil based, so it's not going to soak into my granite surface plate here. Let's do some figure eights. So you can see there where it's high in the corners, where the mounting screws over the years, either through over tightening or just age, are a little bit higher. So polish that down. So I'm just finishing it up here. Piece of 320 grit. It's getting fairly cleaned up. Got a little bit of minor pitting discoloration in there, but it should be okay with that paper gasket. Should seal a lot better than what it did. So yeah, I think that's gonna turn out fairly well. It's flat anyways. A little pitch should seal up with that paper gasket. So I'll clean this up some more and bring it back for the reassembly. So I got rid of all the grime down inside. Everything's pretty flat. Went and took the choke Took the choke shaft out of here and cleaned that out. The throttle shaft, did not take that out. The plate is through a slot cut in the arm, and that screw doesn't seem to want to come out instead of risking breaking it. It seems to be pretty solid and it wasn't leaking from there, so I'm going to go ahead and just forego changing the seal on that throttle shaft for now. Wouldn't have an issue with that anyways. So put the choke shaft, the choke back in place here. Okay, there it is. Refreshing some new seals, gaskets. Go put it on the tractor and get a battery and see how it runs.